Good morning and welcome to the lovely ancient Caledonian pine forests, and you find me, as you can tell, cycling. And the reason I'm starting the video cycling is I went out to do a bit to camera outside the van half an hour ago and there were swarms of midges. Now it is a windy forecast, but the side of the van where the door was opening was sheltered from the wind and there was literally clouds of them. So that's why you find me here cycling along, going at too fast a pace for the little blighters to keep up with me. Anyway, look at this, isn't this lovely? I'll spin you around. Look at that, lights hitting the pine trees. It's absolutely gorgeous. What a place, what a place. Anyway, came up last night, quite late. It was Friday, Saturday morning. Came up after work. So I must have arrived about 9 o'clock maybe, and just got settled in for the night. And up at 5:30 this morning, and I'm hoping to do something I don't think I've ever done, sort of, which I'll come on to in a wee while. But I'm heading up to the 11th highest mountain in the UK, so I'll bring you back in a wee while and let you know what I'm doing. Right, let's go. Look at this. So, wow, what a place. Sun's just peeking over the horizon over yonder. Right, I'll bring you back in a wee while. Right, had to climb a fair bit, a bit of pushing the bike. Anyway, what am I doing today that I've not done, never done? Well, I don't think I've ever done it. I'm going to mountain bike to the top of a Munro. Now, I've taken my bike up lots of Munros, but never right to the top. I think the closest I got was Mount Keene and maybe Beinn Moor, where I was within spitting distance of the top and dumped my bike. But I don't think, I might be wrong, I've taken my bike right to the top. I've done it on a Corbett. I think little Ben Wivis I cycled right up and down. But yeah, there's a number of reasons why I'm doing this, and yeah, I'll explain that later on. But for now, I think I just concentrate. It's not exactly a super flat path or track, it's a wee bit rocky, especially when you're doing it one-handed and hold the camera. So I'll put this away and I'll bring you back. Oh, right, I don't know if you can make out the midges are back. They've gone now, there's a wee breeze. Honestly, they were there. And I've stopped here to show you where I'm going. The mountain I'm going up is dead ahead of me there. I don't know if you can make out, but the tops are still in the cloud. It's Bhuird. I don't know if I said that. Bhuird in the Cairngorms. I'll tell you about the last time I was here, but yeah, the forecast was for it to be sunny. But when I checked again this morning, the sun's not meant to come out for another few hours, so there's no rush. I think I'll be doing a lot of pushing up here, but I think there's maybe a river crossing in a wee while, so I'll bring you back at the river crossing. But just thought I'd show you. Oh, well, I had the chance. Oh man, I don't know if you can make these out. Bloody midges. Right, onwards we go. I think I go up this wee hill round the back of that and then up onto the top, and let's hope the cloud clears. Ah, right, I need to go. A short time later I found myself down at the first river crossing, and there wasn't enough water in it for it to be too much of an issue. There's a wee bit more further on, but nothing that caused any problems. It might be different if the levels were high, but they weren't. As you can tell, that's me across the wee river. It's actually, there's quite, I'll show you, it's quite a big pebbly area here and right across actually. It doesn't look too bad in the camera, but you could probably, if the river was in spate, you could maybe have some issues here. But yeah, it's not too bad today. I probably could have cycled across this bit behind me, but I just wasn't too sure how deep it was. Sometimes it can be a bit deceptive, so I didn't bother, and just went across the stepping stones to keep my feet dry, as you probably saw. So yeah, let's go. Time to start climbing now into the forest and up here. Right, I'll bring you back on the climb. I've just started the ascent. I'm just coming out of the forest now. I don't know if you can make out, there's some precipitation which wasn't in the plan. It's been raining for, it's not heavy rain, it's just light rain, but it's been raining for the last 20 minutes. But yeah, I've tried to cycle, but this bit looks cyclable. It's not as steep here, but the last wee bit through the trees there, oh, there's some blue sky over there. Anyway, the last bit through the trees, yeah, I've been pushing it up, which is fine because I'm pushing it to the top. One of the reasons, I said I'd tell you why I was doing it, one of the reasons is I'm strapped for time as always, so that's why I got up early. And taking the bike and cycling down here is going to save a lot of time. I have watched some videos of people going up here on their bikes, and I'll come on to that later on, but don't expect, yeah, I'll tell you what not to expect from me in comparison to those videos later on. But yeah, it's lovely. I'm hitting the open hillside. That's me coming out of the lovely trees. I mean, the ancient pines are just lovely. Coming up, some of the views were just fantastic, especially when the sun was out earlier on. It was dappling the landscape. It really was fine. So yeah, just taking my time, although I need to get back, but I don't want to get up here when it's still cloudy and it is forecast to lift, so I'm hoping that I'm going to time it just right and not just wrong. But let's go. It's going to be windy up here, so let's see if I can make it all the way up with the bike. Okay, so look at that, the sun's coming out now, which is great. I might have timed it just right. It's hard to see if the summit's clear. If I show you around there, that's the summit's over the back there somewhere. It looks like it's clearing though, which is great, so I might have timed it just right. So yeah, a lot of pushing. I've done a wee bit of cycling. This last bit I cycled up maybe 5%, 3% cycling. I'm unsure whether I'm going to come back down this way or do a loop, but I'll make that decision when I'm at the top. What height am I at now? I've been going for an hour and 45 and I'm at 742, so maybe another 400 metres ascent, which isn't too bad. And of course I've been up here before, but I'll talk about that later. A long time ago. Right, let's go. I'll bring you back later. So I pushed the bike up a little bit further, and before long I noticed this shelter, so I decided to make use of it and stop for a wee rest. Oh, right, lovely wee shelter here. I've been in the, as I said earlier on, the forecast was for it to be really windy in the tops, 35-mile-an-hour winds, and coming up there's hardly been any wind at all, which has allowed the midget to attack. But just coming up onto the shoulder here, I've been exposed to it and it is blowing. It is blowing a hoolie, so that might affect what I choose to do. I've got an out and back route which I'm probably going to do, or I could do a loop. At the moment with the wind the way it is, I might just go the out and back route. Let's see, but anyway, 820 metres, another 300 or so to go. And yeah, let's see what the track's like. There's a lot of drainage ditches. I'm not a seasoned mountain biker, but I do a lot of biking, if that makes sense, but I'll come on to it later on. But oh, that wind, wow. But it is clearing, that's a good thing, so I should get some views from the top. Right, let's go. Oh, right, let's get moving. Oh, right. I've been able to cycle a fair bit of this actually, which has been quite nice. There's less drainage ditches, it's a really nice path, and it levels out just after that spot when you sort of get into the ridge. Really nice. Anyway, I'm going to be heading up, let me just stop and I'll show you. I'm going to be heading up to the south top first. There's two tops on Bhuird. Oh, right. And the south top's just over here, so I think I'm going to head up there first. There's a couple of wild campers who are just ahead of me. I think they're heading up to the summit, so I'll give them time to head up and enjoy that by themselves. So yeah, it's lovely, but yeah, I can cycle. I don't know if you can see down over the shoulder there. It's pretty cyclable right up this shoulder and along and up and round, and pretty good. And the views are fantastic. But I'll do a view stop at the top. Let's get to the south top, and I'll give you an update. Right, let's go. From vague memories of the last time I was up, I think the views from the south top were actually better than the ones from the actual summit, so I was glad that I went here first for reasons that will become apparent in a wee while, because those views might just disappear soon. Oh, I tell you what, it's breezy, really breezy up here. Anyway, I think the south top, it sort of plateaus off and it's a bit rounded over there, but this bit here looks a bit more interesting, so I might just stop here before heading to the true summit. It's right perched on the edge of a cliff. Wow, you can see down into the lock-in. Tell you what, I'm going to get my duvet jacket on though, because I'm cold. The forecast is to be 5 or 6 degrees up here, but I'm pretty sure it said the wind chill, with the wind chill it's about -5, so it certainly feels cold. So it's time to get the duvet jacket on to warm up. It's always better to have too many layers than too few. So I think I always say this in the camps, I always take a duvet jacket because, as I said, it is Scotland, and even though it could be roasty toasty down in the glen, it can be winter any time of the year up here. But let me show you down here, it's beautiful. Just a wee scramble down into to give you a view. Got to be careful, it's dropping out the wind actually, it's quite nice. Looks like this could be a scramble up here actually, I'm not sure. I know there's some climbing routes up here. Oh, perfect timing, here comes the sun. Not going to go any further and I'll show you why. Look at this view, isn't this wonderful? You can see I'm right on the edge of this arete, looks like a nice easy scramble up there, and the loch down yonder. It's absolutely glorious. Look at that, and I'm headed over here to the top in a wee while, but yeah, some nice slabs here. I wonder if there's like climbs, a bit like the Etive slabs. Slavy McSlavy, well, what a view, what a place. Isn't that wonderful? Right, let's, I might sit here for a while actually, 'cause it's nice and out the wind and quite sheltered. But yeah, I'll sit here for a minute and then I'll probably get back on the bike and I'll head over to the top and give you some more information about the last time I was here and a bit about why I brought the bike up. But look at this, what a place, what a place. Ooh, it's a good example of how quickly things can change in the Scottish Highlands. I was enjoying the views down to the loch in there and over to Bhuird, and it was just fantastic. I'll put some footage up now, had the drone going, and within the space of 20 seconds I looked up and the cloud was down over the top, so that's going to make navigation a bit harder now for getting to the true summit, 'cause it sits on a kind of dome. So let's get going, let's not mess about, let's just hope this cloud clears again. The early bird catches the worm though, because if this is in for the rest of the day, I've caught the views that I wanted to do. I mean, it was spectacular looking across the corrie here. What a corrie it is, what a place. It'd be nice to maybe camp down there one time. Bit of a wild and remote corrie. Anyway, right, back on the bike, let's get to the top and back down. Well, it was blooming freezing, so I was glad to jump back on the bike to try and generate some more heat, and before long I was crossing a rather rocky plateau towards the summit of Beinn. So the height of this Munro, this is the top, hurrah! Beinn. The height is 1197 metres, so it's just under 1200 metres, and the clags come in, it's pretty wild and it's cold. As I said, the wind chill temperature, or feels like temperature, was -5 and my hands are numb, so I'm going to get cracked on. But the reason I came here, one reason was the forecast was better for the east coast, and to be fair, until I got to the south top there, the weather had been pretty good, pretty decent. Some of the views I've had on the way up on the bike, and even up on the plateau, the views down into the corrie, I timed it just perfectly. Had I been 10 minutes later I would have missed all those views, because what a magnificent corrie that is. So the weather was better on the east coast, and you wouldn't have thought it now as it's raining, but yeah. Another reason I chose to come up on the bike is just, as I said, for time. I need to get back down pretty quick. The path up here isn't too bad. I've done this hill, this is my second ever Munro actually. I did this when the uni lads, after we'd finished college, were taking me up the Munros. We did Loch Nagar, that was my first Munro, and this was my second one. We did it on a fantastically beautiful May day, and I can remember coming up in my shorts and t-shirts and trainers. Just a wonderful day it was, and I seem to remember we cut off down a different way through sort of thigh deep heather. That's my memories of that. But that was a long time ago. In fact, that was last century. That makes me feel old. That was last century. So the last time I was here was a century ago. Well, you know what I mean. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, and yeah, the other thing I was talking about was the mountain bike and why I've brought it. Now, I did do some research on this. I know that the paths in the Cairngorms are great. I've cycled around them quite a lot, but I don't think I've ever brought my bike right to the summit of a Munro before. I've certainly been close. I remember years ago after work, about 20, 25 years ago, I cycled up Mount Keane, but I'm pretty sure I left the bike maybe 20 metres shy of the summit, and the same with Beinn Moor. And there's been plenty where I've cycled quite a long way in with them, but I don't think I've ever brought one to the top of a Munro. So I was just wanted to do that, just to say I've done it. I mean, now I'm not a mountain biker, although I do a lot of biking. I used to jog, again, last century I used to go out jogging, but my knees were knackered, so I bought a bike. So the way I keep fit is actually to cycle. Cycling isn't, you know, I'm not a novice, maybe I'm a novice in this sort of thing. It's a hardtail bike, so I've got the front suspension, but I don't have the full suspension. Every video that I watched of people coming up here, they had the proper all singing, all dancing bikes, so I'm a bit apprehensive about going down. I'll certainly not be whizzing down like some of the videos that I watched. I think one of the channels is called Trail Rider. I watch his stuff, so go and check his stuff out, Trail Rider. If you're into mountain biking, you probably have heard of him. He does all the Munros, and certainly ones I would never be far too technically difficult for me to go down. It's a great channel he's got. So don't be expecting me to be flying down here like these guys do. I'll be going down at geriatric pace. Especially when it comes to the drainage ditches. I don't even have a saddle that drops, because that's apparently a thing. They did try and sell me one, but I couldn't afford it. It was an extra, I don't know, a few £100. But anyway, I'm sure this bike will be adequate. I've been using it a lot more. I'll tell you why I've been using my bike a bit more in the last kind of 6 months, a bit further down the hill. But for now, let's get the helmet back on. Let's start this descent. It's a bit rocky in the top, but I think once I drop down, I'll get out the cloud as well, and that'll be quite nice. And then I'll be a lovely freewheel back down into the glen. So let's go. I'll bring you back in a wee while. What time is it now? It is 10:25. So that's taken me just shy of 4 hours to get up here. But as I said, I've been taking my time and doing lots of bits to camera, which takes up a bit of time as well. It would take a lot more had I been walking. God, this rain. This was not in the plans. Let's go, right, downhill. Let's go. Alright, let's go. You probably can't tell as I try and use the wind reduction software to take the wind noise out, but it was blowing a hoolie and it was raining quite heavily. Again, you probably don't notice it from this footage, but anyway, here's some footage where I've not used the software to reduce the wind noise. It's pretty brutal. Absolutely hosing it down. What's the forecast? And the wind, oh my god. Right, let's go. Okay, it's a wee bit rocky, so I have to be a bit careful here, but as you can see, I've descended out of the cloud and the rain's gone off, which is great. It was on for about half an hour there. Oh my god, it got soaked. I just didn't expect it to rain, so I didn't bother getting my the wee Keela waterproof cagoule on, which I should have done, but anyway. Time for some fun. It's been quite nice coming down here. I'll put some footage up, but so far so good. The path's really nice. I think it's going to be a really nice speedy descent. I'll give you an update when I get down a wee bit. I might go and sit and have something to eat. I might have a Scotch egg, because I'm getting a bit peckish at that wee shelter that I sat in earlier on. So I'll bring you back there. I'm going to put the head down and concentrate on not falling off my bike now, but it looks like it's going to be a fantastically quick descent. As expected, it was lovely. There was parts of the path where I could just kind of freewheel down and sort of generate a wee bit of speed. Speedy for me, put it that way. It was just wonderful, but I was soon back down at the shelter where I'd stop for a bite to eat. Let's be back at this wee shelter. I'm just going to stop here and have my first bite to eat. Scotch egg, surprise, surprise. I do have pork pies with me. Right. I'm hoping that sun comes out now and dries me off a bit. I should have, it's the same old story, isn't it? I should have put the old cagoule on as soon as I felt the rain coming on, but anyway, look at the view behind me. I'm going to be heading down there, and yeah, I think I was going to say the reason that I've not decided to do the loop as well. One, the weather closed in, and two, when I was watching Trail Rider's video, he did the loop the other way, and he suggested if he was, going to if he was going to give any advice, he would just do an out and back from this route that I've done. So I thought I'd just do that. I wasn't sure what the path would be like in the other way. I know going down here it's going to be relatively gentle gradient and just lovely. So yeah, as I said, I'm not going to be going down super fast, but yeah, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'll enjoy it more once my belly's full, because I am hungry. Right, let's go. Oh, here we go. Right. Having had my breakfast, it was time to get back on the trail, and it was just lovely. I mean, there wasn't any really uphill sections, so it definitely saved me time and saved my legs, and before long I was back down in amongst the forests of the Caledonian pines. Oh, right, that's me just back on the 4x4 track and off the single track. Well, it was great fun. I hope, you know, there's no way I was going down as fast as some of these other, you see these YouTube videos of the proper mountain bikers, it's amazing the speed they go. The bike wasn't too bad, the drainage ditches weren't as bad as I thought they'd be. The bike coped quite well, but it'd been a hardtail, so yeah, fantastic, great fun. So back onto this sort of stuff now, which makes it a bit easier. I'll bring you back a bit later and tell you a bit more about why I've been out on my bike more. Right, let's concentrate. The track through the trees was just wonderful, and before I knew it, I was back at the van and ready to get the kettle on for a cup of tea. Well, that's me back at the van, as you can probably tell. I've got my coffee, I've had a bite to eat. I'll just sort of give you a quick synopsis. Oh, and I was going to tell you why I've been out on the bike a bit more. It's basically because it's a new bike. I used other ones till they were falling to bits, until they were dangerous actually. I think I've talked about this before. And when I did that Louis Belt trip with Ray, the brakes fell apart, and that was the... Yeah, I just need to, I think I need to accept they weren't high quality bikes. They were okay, they did be 15 years, but anyway, so I've got a new one, bought it through the Bike to Work scheme, and yeah, I love biking anyway. That's what I do to keep fit, so that's why you've seen me out a bit more. And although I've never been to the top of a Monroe before, it was nice to do that. It was a bit rocky in the top, but the cycle down was just amazing. The gradient was just lovely, it wasn't too steep, nothing too technical. I certainly wasn't going as fast. A lot of respect to these chaps. I know they've got the proper sort of full suspension bikes, but God, they can fly down. I was, the brakes were being applied, shall we say, the brakes worked, which didn't work on the old bike, which was great. So yeah, it was fine, it was just lovely, really nice. Bit of a slog pushing it up. Once you get onto the shoulder, you can kind of ride it a bit more. It's a shame the weather came in. It was like, again, this is another sort of characteristic of this summer. It's felt more like winter. I'm sure there was bits of sleet on the top there when it was raining and it was stinging. My hands are still got the hot aches now. So it's not been much of a summer. But anyway, good to do. Can thoroughly recommend it. I don't think it's too difficult a one to start off on, because you know, as I said, it's not steep and it's not technical. As long as you've got a bike that's relatively decent, you should be able to do it. So anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. As always, please stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week for another adventure. Right, I'll finish this coffee, then get down the road. See you next week.
Yeah.